Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It is Friday Night Lights, the New Year's Eve edition. Main slate tomorrow, so don't oversleep tonight. Get your lineups in so you can make some money. I'm here with my friends, Willie Walls and the great Swame Odell Blocker. Willie, it's glad to finally see you.
Yes, we had some technical difficulties. Mostly it was difficulties on my end, but that's okay. We figured it out. So now we're back. We're back on point.
We are on point. Swame, how you doing there? You're looking like you're ready for action.
Doc, I'm definitely ready for action, but you say, why the shades? It's because the sun is starting to set on my ability to win a big tournament this year. So why we still got some daylight? I'm trying to get it in.
It's funny, I think we've had good seasons, but none of us has taken down a tournament this year, have we? You got close, Willie. You were really close.
Yeah, but the closest is kissing your sister. That ain't good enough, man. So
We take these off now.
All right, we need to take down a tournament this week. I'm feeling it. I like this slate. Let's get right to it, guys. Let's start at the big game there. Detroit and Chicago. This game has fantasy goodness all over the place. We can be talking whether it's Jared Goff. We can be talking Justin Fields. So let me start, Willie. Is there a quarterback you like more? Will you go Fields? Will you go Goff and save the money? Or are you going to go elsewhere?
It depends on what site we're talking about. If it's DraftKings, I got to go with Goff on DraftKings. I mean, that Goff, that $2,300 thing you could do so much with, and he's 20-3. He's been crushing it at home, and now he's starting to do it on the road. And Chicago's without two of their top three corners. You know what I mean? So they are in some trouble. And the reason I say that, I still like Fields, but Fields at 7,900 when he has no receivers. The only thing that he could count on is the rushing ability, where Detroit is giving up 9 yards per attempt, which is great. But if that dries up, what does Fields have? Plus, what makes it even worse is his guys keep dropping the ball, making mistakes. Fields will have a drive like against Buffalo. They had 2 or 3 drives that was stopped because the guys kept fumbling the ball. So if you're going to be ass and you don't have nobody and you keep making turnovers, he's in an impossible situation. So that being said, yeah, he's a play, but I'm just telling you, on FanDuel, I'm more interested in Fields on FanDuel than DraftKings. But they're both great plays, great quarterbacks. And this offense just all over the place. Now, I the one thing that I'm going to do differently is I'm playing DJ. I'm playing Shark. That's the guy who I'm going with. So I'm going to be different than everybody because everybody else is going. And don't get me wrong, I know he's probably the best receiver, but they're almost $3,800 difference in price there. And DJ Shark, believe it or not, has been his deep. When he goes deep, he goes to the DJ. And I'm just telling you, that's where the Bears have their weakness at going deep. So that's why I love DJ Shark today, and I love Goff today. And it's going to be some fantasy goodness in here for sure. You can't really depend on Montgomery because now Herbert is back. It's 2 games left, so you don't know if they want to take a look at Herbert because Montgomery's not going to be there next year. So those are all the things we got to consider. So, Montgomery is not in play. I mean, Herbert might be that running back that you might want to use. But I know Swame and Swame is going to be on Swift. But I'm just saying you can keep Swift and his little 9 targets or 9 touches that he gets. I don't like the way they do that, man. It's just they pissed me off with that. But anyway, love this game. You can play it both sides, but I'm really it gives me cause for pause on the guy that I love. I love Justin Fields, but he needs to have some weapons. And he doesn't have that besides Komet. That's it. That's all he has.
Well, Willie talks about DJ Chark mentioned this about St. Brown. Are you willing to double stack those guys, or do you want to stack it elsewhere? How do you want to approach this game? Because I know you want to play it.
Doc, I'm glad you asked. First, Willie, please don't speak for me. Don't mention my plays. Don't forecast. You don't know where I'm going because I don't know where I'm going. Let's just get that right out the way. Now, I think Willie's wrong. I think you have to look at everybody in this game. You don't say Mr. St. Brown's too much. You don't say Justin Fields doesn't have a receiver. You don't say, I don't know if anybody else is in play here but chalk. That is absolutely nuts. Let me tell you why. Mr. Golf has been getting a lot of people involved. He's even found a tight end that helped take down a tournament last week. Okay, so don't tell me what can't happen. Those 3 touchdowns can go to St. Brown. Those 3 touchdowns can go to Chalk. They can go to Raymond. Those 3 touchdowns could go to anybody. This offense in the dome is absolutely viable, and that's everybody. That is.
But answer this question: who are you focusing on? That's what we want to know. You're listen. Oh, I can go to everybody. Who are you focusing on? That's what I want to know.
I'm glad you asked. I'm not sure if you know that Mr. Williams, he kind of tweaked himself. He had to lead a game for a little bitty return. It was a little, this time of year, nobody's 100%. He tweaked himself. Coming back home, the last time I mentioned this on the carpet, I said, watch out for Mr. Swift. You had a lot to say about Mr. Swift, and he proceeded to make you eat humble pie. Now,
yeah, 1 out of 12 games and his 9 touches. I get it. But they also have somebody else that they go to too. So what I'm saying to you, I like Swift, but you know what? I need more than 9 touches, sir. That's all I'm saying.
Just like I told you before, this isn't daily touch sports. You don't get anything for touches. You don't get anything for attaboys and any of that.
So are you playing Amon-Ra St. Brown with Chark? Yes or no?
Yes. And I think if you play St. Brown and you want to maybe kind of separate yourself, Chark or Swift might be a good way to go.
The problem is, Willie, he's right. If you just play Goff and St. Brown, you and 30% of people are doing that. You have to separate yourself in some way or the other.
Why do you think I said I'm playing DJ Chark? Because a lot of people don't want to play him. They want to play St. Brown. I'm fading St. Brown. I'm playing Chark. That's what I'm going to. I'm not playing St. I'm going with Chark. I'm going with the deep guy. I'm fading St. Brown. I'll let everybody else have it.
Can you fade St. Brown, who's going to put up? He's putting up 20. No.
Yeah, I don't. And then again, if St. Brown doesn't go down at the 1 or inside the 5, if St. Brown, if they're not at the 1 yard line, the chances of St. Brown scoring to me is almost a coin flip. The only danger of I would say him not scoring this week is if it was some situation where they kept getting it at the 1. We all know what's going to happen at the 1. But I like him to score this week. I like him to still get double-digit targets. I think he may even get double-digit receptions in this game. I like St. Brown a lot.
So, Willie, I'm confused. Is the way to do it either do Chark with Goff or do Chark, St. Brown, and Goff? Is that the way?
Honestly, Doc, like I told you, everybody has got St. Brown in there. That's why I'm going with Chark. I just think that if I could get even if Chark gets 18 points at his price point, and I got Brown, and if I got Chark and he gets a touchdown or 2 and gets like 20 points compared to his 18. I'm just saying, for me, I love Golf, but Golf spreads the ball around. He does spread the ball around a lot. And for me, I just want to take my shots, because how do you beat Chicago? On deep balls. Who is a deep ball person? DJ. That's a deep ball.
What if I throw an idea out at you? What if I don't play Golf? What if I play Fields and I correlate with Chark? Does that give me the upside that I'm not getting with the Goff St. Brown safe play?
I love the Fields and Chark play. I love the Fields play. I think Fields is a money play this week, even at that price. I disagree with Walls that he needs to have, Mooney or just one guy in there. I don't think so. Not for him to have a big game. And him and Cole, I would say Cole has at least been a part of a couple of his big games this year.
Who?
Komet.
Oh.
So I think it's possible that you can still get away with Fields, what he's doing. He's moving the ball around. They're definitely going to be able to keep pace with the Lions. The Lions aren't stopping anybody. Like Fields a lot. So I think it's something there. But my thing is with this game, and I tell Willie a lot, I like the games that Vegas and the experts think are going to put up points. I don't want the woulda, coulda, shoulda games. I don't want these gut feeling games and, I really think somebody's due games. The expert is telling me, the experts are telling us where the touchdowns are going to be scored.
And so is everybody and their mother. You need to find other opportunities where people are not looking. I got it. Okay. But we've also had this thing where these type of things disappoint, where it goes to Zystra. And then they could go to the other tight end this time. It could go other places. So you need to find those other places. Listen, if it was that easy like that, everybody would be doing it. Oh, I'm just going to go play these games and I'm Xing out these games. You can't do that. You're going to have to find a place that Vegas is not looking, because they're not right on everything, a game that could possibly shoot out. That's what you got to find.
But this is the game that's going to shoot out, and you're talking about fading that game.
I didn't say nothing about fading the game. I said I'm fading St. Brown. I said nothing about fading the game. You didn't let me say that.
Okay, I'm talking
I told you I do like Fields. I love, but on DraftKings, I told you the Detroit quarterback is a must-play. On FanDuel, it favors Fields.
Mr. Barkley, it'll be great if the fans can hear both points, right? Because it'll be your point.
I got it, but don't say what I didn't do or what I didn't do, because you put words in my mouth. I didn't say that. I love the game. But what I'm saying is I'm going to be different in stacking this game than everybody else. That's all.
Doc, I'm not trying to quote him, and I hope he don't take it as quote. Folks out there on TV, I'm not quoting Willie. Willie's being literal, but I'm just trying to land the plane. Let me land it. What I mean is, Doc, when you got games that the experts are saying are going to have the most points, right? You're trying to pick a piece in the game. He right. It might be some guy whose last name begins with Z, but it's in a game that they're projecting points. You don't then take a game that they're saying won't have any points, teams that haven't scored touchdowns in 6 weeks, and then assume that they're going to put up these huge numbers.
I tell everybody out there, let Vegas guide you.
Yes.
Right? Let it guide you. You don't have to follow them, but you're guided by Vegas. So I'm going to give you 4 other quarterbacks who Vegas is guiding us in their direction.
Okay?
Because I can look at the screen. I can look at the numbers. I know what Vegas is telling me.
Right.
They're telling me that Justin Herbert is going to throw 2 touchdowns. They're telling me that. Do we like Justin Herbert this week against the Rams? Yay or nay?
He's suspended, Doc. Permanent and indefinite. I don't know if he'll be back at quarterback for me this season.
And I got a couple of hot takes. You need to listen to the beat reporters when they talk about these games, because there might be some people in games that might be treating it like a preseason game, because you got to remember, what do they have to play for? They have that spot.
So you don't like Herbert?
No.
Do you like Tom Brady this week? Because the Vegas is pointing his direction for 2 touchdown passes and 280 yards. It might be smelly, but you may get that production. Yay or nay on Brady?
Vegas been pointing to him for the last 5 weeks, and he been pulling his pants down and pooping right where they pointing at.
Doc,
he's terrible.
Doc, they held that offense to 3 points the last time. Negative.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers in a game where he is coming back against the Vikings, who embarrassed him. You know he's got this game circled on his calendar, and the Vikings have stopped no one. Swame, yay or nay on Rodgers?
I'm going to say nay under protest. Doc Rogers has struggled. He's the reason I was eliminated from the playoff. He overthrew. He missed Lazard in the back of the end zone wide open, and then he overthrew him for about 20 yards for a pick. I can't endorse respectfully the GOAT. I know he loves this show. I can't endorse him this week. No.
Willie, yay or nay?
I would rather play Mr. Rogers from the kid show than Rogers. He hasn't scored over 20.3 points the whole year. He's just like Brady. And I did see the same thing he saw. And I had played Lazard, and that bastard missed him wide open. Just keep missing people. Mr. Rogers. I take the Mr. Rogers on them. Or Sesame Street or whatever he's from. Give me that Rogers.
What about Patrick Mahomes, Swami? You paying up for Mr. Mahomes?
Mr. Mahomes, Doc, is a play every week. And then you got him at home? What? He's a Scooby-Doo sound. What? He's a play every dog a week. And not to mention, the last time he got into it with Denver, in Denver, he put it on him. So, yes, Mr. Mahomes is absolutely a play.
Willie, are you playing Mahomes at all this week?
I mean, I'm a sprinkle him in. He's not going to be my core, but all I got to say is this. If Baker Mayfield.
Go ahead.
If Baker Mayfield, Tyler Higbee.
My goodness.
I want to light it on fire. Hold on. Go ahead.
Tyler Higbee looked like an all-pro last week.
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers
If they did that, you know he's a play. I mean, if we're gonna go back around again, that's the team that I got some interest in. Not Baker. I got some interest in some Rams.
All right, give you one more team. I was on this morning and somebody said for a GPP play, he likes Mike White with Garrett Wilson and Tyler Conklin. Yay or nay on that one, Swami? Is that a no?
Look, I mean, I kind of think I know where people going with that. But it's no way I got Jared Goff out there with people like that. That's stacked.
It's Goff and Fields, and that's
anyway,
it.
That Goff. How do you get to that? That's what I call ass trying.
Let me say this. Now I understand because they like Mike White, but see, this is two things that you don't do this year. You don't play against the Jets with your receivers. You don't play against Seattle with your receivers. Now, Conklin is definitely a man of interest. Okay, that's the tight end. But what people don't understand is they've been in the top 5 all year long, and that hasn't changed. So you don't look at receiver. And I made that mistake last week with the Chiefs. And I said, oops, that's my fault. I shouldn't have made that mistake because they've been pretty stout against receivers. Now the tight ends are the thing. So Mr. White, I'm sorry, Mr. White, not this week. Not this week, Mr. White.
All right, so we're Fields and Goff sprinkling the little Mahomes. Got it. Let's turn to running backs. I will tell you this. I believe Christian McCaffrey is the best play on the board, but I will not have any part of McCaffrey this week. It may cost me money, but I just feel like in a game that they should be winning, he's not going to get the bulk. Agree or disagree with that, guys?
Agree, because when I looked over, first of all, this is where you're going to win a slate at running back. This is where you win the slate. This is when your choice at running back is going to win the slate. But I agree with you because they're starting to play this Price dude, and they're starting to get him in there. And remember, they already won a division. I just don't see San Francisco might start tapering it down a little bit just so they could get healthy for the playoffs. So to be honest with you, I will not play McCaffrey. I thought I had him in my dummy lineup, but I'm a dummy. I'm gonna take that rascal out because I don't think he's going to be doing anything for me this week.
Swami, you playing McCaffrey? You're going to stay away from like Willie and I are.
I think McCaffrey's still a play. I think the Raiders have been, proven themselves to be very, very terrible against the run. And for that reason, I think he's in play. I think that the only thing that scares me is if the 49ers defense shows up and really, roughs up the Raiders, then I think the game will probably have one of those, slow paces where the clock's running, and next thing we know, they're the first game off, and the score was 23-3, and that's the game that kind of concerns me. Now, if there's any scenario where you think the Raiders at home, the offense can do something, then maybe. I wouldn't totally say McCaffrey's not a play. I think I agree with Willie. I think what makes McCaffrey very difficult to get in there is his price this week comparative to these other backs that's in great spots or have great matchups. And so it makes you feel like, yes, I still like McCaffrey, but no, I don't think I'll be able to afford him in my big lineup.
So who are the great backs in the great spots? Who do we like this week?
I think the ones that are interesting to me are Foreman. I see Knight there, but I don't like his touches. I don't like the Jets' ability to run the ball. I think Foreman is interesting. I think Saquon is interesting, but he might have a very similar concern as Mr. McCaffrey. I think Atlanta could be interesting, especially if they're going to continue to go to the young guy. I think he could be interesting. I think Dalvin Cook is in an interesting spot. I would, out of everybody on the Vikings offense, I would probably lean towards him because of Mr. Jefferson's price. And Mr. Jefferson typically tears them up at home. And it's their first time probably being outside since September. Seems like they're playing a very, very, very inside-friendly schedule there, those Vikes. But anyway, I think Cam Akers is in a good spot. I am a little concerned that, they had that great game, and then it could be a little bit of a letdown coming back. And then Denver, pick which back you think is going to get it there. And then I think Robinson with Gibson out is in a good spot. And then I'm going to probably stop there, but I'm not. I know Willie could make some cases for maybe a Connor, Chubb, and ETN is in Houston, but I think I'm going to stop at Robinson.
Willie, who do you like this week? Swame forgot he left out one of my favorite guys. I love Kenneth Walker this week. Who are some of the guys that you have on your list?
Walker is. Listen, Robinson. I thought about it, but I can't. I'm not going to be dumb about it. Even if it's 20 points, I will take it from this dude for his price point. I think he's going to get all the touches he can handle. He had 22 touches against the toughest defense in the NFL, and he had had brutal matchups the past 3 weeks. So he finally is going to get a breather, and Gibson is out. So I don't mind Robinson at all. I would be more interested in ETN, and I'm thinking about taking him out of even season long because this is the reason. That's why I said we need to listen to the morning reports when the beat writers talk about it in fantasy, because all the broadcasters, they have meetings with the coaches, and the coaches will ask them not to release the report until 11:30. It's going to be very important we listen to those reports, because I got a feeling that I think Jacksonville, especially with what's his name having a foot injury, that they might shut him down early to prevent that, because all the marbles are for next week for that division. So I don't see a reason why Jacksonville has any incentive this game to win that game against, this week, because everything comes down to next week.
Quick question about Brian Robinson. I agree with you about ETN. I think we watch it 11:30, 100%. Can we play Brian Robinson and DK or only on FanDuel?
No. You play him with DK at 5,200. Hell yeah. Because Robinson is now going to get the catches. Now, because if he gets five, first of all, if he get catches, that's a bonus. And one thing I've noticed that when they have thrown to him, he's caught the ball. You know what I mean? So he's going to, so I think they're going to have to diversify a little bit this week. Listen, the dude had 22 catches against San Francisco. Okay, now you're going against Cleveland that gives up, almost 5 yards a carry against the run. And they give up about 17 points. So I just think that with the receivers that they have, I don't like Wentz. Don't get it twisted. Wentz stinks. But they do have viable receivers. The receivers are viable, and they're going to have to respect that. I think Robinson, he has one of the best price points this week, period. You got a guy that's $5,200 that can get the ball 25 to 30 touches. And without touches, I'm sorry, you need touches to have an opportunity. And if you're getting 4 or 5 yards per pop, you're going to get all the goal line. You're getting all the goal line touches. You're not being sniped by nobody. He is going to be a man of interest, and not even saying that. I see you got your hand up. It's my turn. Put your hand down because I got some other people to mention. Put your hand down, sir. You had your opportunity. You stand by. I can't. Respect the rank, sir. You still ain't there. Respect the rank, Major. Let the colonel talk. Thank you. Okay, there we go. So you look at that, and you said something interesting about Seattle. Because they like to get the ball, and this dude had 26 touches last week. And yeah, the Jets are like that against the pass, but not like that against the run. So he's an interesting dude. And I'm gonna tell you, I do like Cam Akers. I love Cam Akers because I don't know how they're gonna do. If they're gonna rest their guys. Because look, if you're smart, you got Keenan Allen that's healthy, right? It looks good. Why the hell you want to get him injured in the last game or two? You follow what I'm saying? Do you want him pulling a hammy?
So you're saying you wouldn't play Keenan Allen?
No, I'm going to play Keenan Allen, but I don't know how much he's going to play in the game. You follow what I'm saying? You look at it. What does this game mean what does this game mean to him?
Yeah, but if that's the case, I'm going to get you 1 second, Swame. Do you think that Allen doesn't play in week 17 and week 18?
No. I'm not saying that he's going to play, but I'm thinking they might treat it like a third preseason game. You follow what I'm saying? Where they playing for a half, you know what I mean? Then get some other people in there. That's all I'm saying. Because listen, I want these guys to get this stuff. But look, man, especially the way they had injuries this year. What are you doing? I'm putting bubble wrap on them after halftime. You follow what I'm saying? What does the game mean? What they got to do is they got to look sharp because Herbert has looked like trash. You follow what I'm saying? Their offensive line has been trash. They've had a lot of injuries in the offensive line. So what I'm telling you is, I just think that Akers is getting a lot of touches. So he's going to be one of my cores. And I'm going to tell you another guy. I agree with Swame with Cook. I do like Cook because the game means something. I think Cook, and you can run on Green Bay. And I'm interested in Dillon. I think Dillon is You say Dillon? Have you looked at Dillon? Have you followed Dillon? I think what's the name is hurt. I think he's hurt. That's why
he's off the injury list. He's going to play. All right, Swame, let's get back to you for a second here. Do you like any of the names that Willie said? Do you play guys on DraftKings who don't catch the ball? What are you doing differently?
First of all, Doc, let's get a couple things straight. Kenneth Walker against those Jets. Not sure what y'all seeing. 11th against RB1. We've had these conversations before, gentlemen. There's no reason to go uphill in dress shoes. Get boots. Strap up. I don't do that. I don't pay up to go uphill in those types of matchups. That's one. Second,
wait, hold on. Wait, can I follow up on that? I want, when he's going to get 25 touches, does that override the number 11?
Doc, here's the only place where I want to hear touches, Doc. Like a strip club or some place where you're dealing with your loved ones. That's the only place where touches matter.
You wouldn't want to touch somebody in a strip club, those little nasty rascals. You would want that, wouldn't you? You nasty bastard.
Doc, when it was
you nasty bastard.
When it was his go, I was quiet. He go chiming in.
Now you said touches and strip club. That's nasty.
As Shaq said, it's going to go 1, 2, 3. It go 1, 2, back to 1. Relax over there. Damn. Now, Doc, like I was saying, touches don't equal DFS points. Here's what I mean. Since week 9, because he mentioned touches, and then he had the nerve to mention goal line. Week 9, the Commanders have got at the goal line or had a goal line touch maybe twice. What are we talking about? There's no touches there. Doc, you can't. He wants to go again. Zip it. Zip, zip, zip. Doc, it is no touches there. They haven't scored. They haven't produced. The Commanders aren't doing it. Just like I told Willie before, you have to have conception before you can have a baby. He keeps talking about somebody's due. They're not due until they have conception. Conception happens red zone touches and goal line.
So are you playing Bam Night? Are you playing Bam Night and Dr. Foreman because they have the matchups this week?
The matchups. And the last time he played him, I think Foreman on maybe 15 carries went over 100 yards then. They tore up a team we thought they couldn't run on last week, and now they get a team we think they can run on this week, a divisional opponent who has been, let's just say, underwhelming.
Listen, Tampa Bay got their big boy back this week. You know, they got that big linebacker. Was it Burbick? What is his name? I think he's back.
He was there the last time when he went.
You know, listen.
He averaged almost 10 yards.
You chase that waterfall with Foreman and them because Hubbard is the one that's going to be the guy in play this week.
How many goals do you want?
Can I give you a guy who 3 weeks ago we loved, but now nobody's mentioned his name? Isaiah Pacheco. When they played Denver a couple of weeks ago, everybody was like, Denver's run defense stinks. We all thought Pacheco was going to score. He crapped the bed. Now all of a sudden they're playing at home in a game where they have an implied total of 30. Everybody loves McKinnon, but maybe Pacheco scores this week, Swami. Are we missing out on him?
He might score this week, but Patrick Mahomes and McKinnon didn't get the memo. The memo they got says, I got a new weapon. His name is McKinnon. And guess what? I'm going to McKinnon out the backfield. And guess what? I got this Tony character I'm going to. And guess what? I got my tight end this week. And I got all these wide receivers. And it seems like the forgotten man and all of that. The guy who didn't get it was Mr.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Both running backs might be off the board. Is Mr. Hardman playing this week?
Miko? I didn't see anything about Miko playing.
No, Mecole Hardman? Let me see. I will check right now. Mecole Hardman won't play in Sunday's game against the Broncos.
Yeah, okay, good. Because as soon as he comes back, all that's nipped. Because that's the rascal who used to get all that stuff by the goal line. Is this Mecole Hardman guy?
So Doc, this touches and goal line thing goes back to the point where it's very difficult because this guy, Willie's right. He's going to get 22 carries. He's likely to get 4 or 5 balls out the backfield. But here's where me and Willie disagree. If the team isn't scoring, if the Commanders don't score, the one thing that's not possible is for the running back to score. And if he doesn't like Wentz, or if he does like Wentz, then that's the way that they're going to score. He doesn't like Wentz. The way that they're going to score is going to be Dotson.
They're going against Cleveland.
It don't matter who they're going against.
They're going against Cleveland.
Brian Robinson is going to get 20 carries for 100 yards. The question is, does he score a touchdown?
They don't score. So the
they do score. They do score. They scored against San Francisco.
Look at their points.
But listen, all we want is them being near the goal line, and it's going to be cash money for Robinson. If Robinson gets 100 yards, okay, and a touchdown, and he gets a couple of balls, that's going to be a guy that you need at 5,200.
Walls, if my aunt had a couple balls, she'd be
honestly,
my uncle.
You got to project ahead. You act like Cleveland is a juggernaut. What are you saying?
What I'm saying is, if my aunt had a couple balls, she'd be my uncle.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. And I'm not interested in Connor. They're going against a defense that's ass against the run. You got a guy that gets 96% of all the touches. He gets 96%, and no matter what the opponent was, who he went to, he still produces. Numbers don't lie.
Connor's a great start this week. Connor's a great start this week.
Now, the last thing he said, Doc, my last rebuttal, he said numbers don't lie. And so I'm going to the games where they had matchups only, and now I'm adding him and Gibson together, and they had 10 points, 15 points, and 20 combined. 10, 15, and 20, both backs. And that's exactly what I got this guy getting, 10 or 15, with getting everything.
No. I tell you what, let's put $500 down, Mr. You like DJ Swift. I will take Robinson over Swift in points if you feel that way.
So you want to take the guy with 25 touches to the
No, touches don't matter. It don't matter like you said. No, it doesn't matter. So if touches don't matter, yeah, give me the guy with 25 touches. Because the bottom line, if you're a receiver, what is it all about? Targets. If you don't get the targets, most likely you're not going to get where you need to be. So you got to have targets.
The Browns have let up 15 touchdowns, which is tied for third. Yards per carry, they have let up the third most, 5.24. So if this guy gets 20 carries, he is getting 100 yards. The big question is this, 2 questions. 1, can he catch the football at all? Can he get 2 receptions for 20 yards? And then B, can he score a touchdown? If he does that, he's going 4X.
But Doc, here's the fact of the matter, and I got to keep reminding Willie the facts. Pierce, 12 points. Mixon, 12 fantasy points. Guess what? J.K. Dobbins, 16. Why is this guy so special? The Ravens couldn't do it. Why are they so special? The Bengals couldn't do it. Why are they so special? Houston couldn't do it. Why are they so special? Right? They're not special. That's the point. And you can't argue the numbers. You can try to, but that's who's calling you right now. The nut. That's what they want. They said, pick up, Willie. You're crazy. Nobody else could do it. Why is this team so special? Won't you answer the phone and tell them, hey, I've lost my mind. It's me. I've gone crazy. Come pick me up. That's why they keep
you don't listen. You know what? Sometimes they gave 15 rushing touchdowns. Cleveland.
Look at the numbers. Who they give them to? They ain't give them to these running backs. Who they give them to?
He's not wrong though, Willie. The last few weeks, because I'm looking at it right here too.
Tell them.
I mean, they have let up. Look, I'm with you. But Kamara has not been great. 20 carries, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Dobbins, I mean, it's been okay.
Listen, Dobbins, that was stupidity on the Ravens. They didn't give the ball to Dobbins. He was eating them up for 5 yards. All I gotta say is this: you see, he didn't want to put $500 on his Swift, and he talking about all these touches. He talked out the side of his neck. He know that touches matter.
All right, let's pivot to wide receivers. Is there a wide receiver, Swame, that you look at and you say, this guy's in my core? Oh, is that Brian Robinson?
No, that ain't Brian Robinson. That's them people coming.
That's right. That is my daughter. Hold on. That's my daughter, and she don't understand. I told her I'm on a pod.
Bring your daughter on the air. Bring her on the air. We want to meet her.
Come get them. That's them folks. They got the padded room waiting for Willie. They got the straight jacket. They got the truck with the padded walls. They're coming to get him. That's what's going on. Don't you dare try to blame it on nobody. Don't you dare try to blame it on nobody. You know that's the folks from the funny farm coming to get you. That's what's happening.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
I'm sorry about that.
See, every time I'm on the podcast, she still can't hear.
Doc is no way he created something so beautiful that came from something so wicked. Doc, and get him on. No. I can't. Hold on, Doc. What's going on? Doc, The numbers speak for themselves. We don't even need to. Let's get the receivers. So,
all right, what receivers?
I think I like, as far as upside, I think we have to acknowledge the fact if he's put up in his last 3 games a couple of 40s against him, even though they've been in Minnesota. We have to acknowledge Mr. Jefferson. We just got to acknowledge him, right? This is honorable mention. But I don't think me and Willie are able to give him an endorsement at that price. And I agree. So then as you're coming down that list, I think the first name that starting to jumps out to you is kind of Mr. St. Brown, as somebody who can give you that kind of upside on this slate. I think the obvious ones that I skipped over has a lot to do with Teddy, as Willie would call him, and Water, Mr. Bridgewater.
But Hill did pretty well with Teddy B when he
Hey,
games.
let me say something. Teddy, I meant to tell you this. I like Teddy this week, and this is the reason why. Man, New England's missing 4 of their 5 corners. They're out. They're out this week. They got a safety that's got a concussion. I'm telling you, they got me and you playing cornerback this week. I know Belichick's a great guy, but when you got this Waddle and you got this Hill guy, I'm telling you, there's a couple of injuries that are very significant, and this is one of the significant injuries. They have lost. They're losing 3 corners this week.
And with that news, immediate GPP becomes Bridgewater with Hill and Waddle.
Yes. No, it's a viable play. And you know what? It will be so low owned. Nobody will be on that. I promise you when I do my 3 lineups, that will be one of my 3 lineups.
And this is another thing. Weather. 57 degrees in New England this time of the year. You understand this? And sunny. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Because listen, they proved the point to me when they played Buffalo in that bad weather situation. You know, that was a point being that, look, we're going to be here. But I'm telling you, without those corners, people ain't looking at this. And that's why I was on New England's defense until I saw that report. I said, whoa, oh, no, not with the talent that they got. And one thing that Teddy does is, listen, and that's why I do have Hill in some fantasy championships. Man, I felt a little bad that I looked at it. I said, man, you know what? He focuses on Hill, you know, so they are definitely in play, and I think that's the way this week that we can be a little different is, you know, reacting to that news.
Who are Swame, let's get back to the receivers that can get both. We like St. Brown, we like Chark, we mentioned that. I'm just going to give you some names, okay? Do we like the Garrett Wilsons of the world? Do we like Cortland Sutton of the world, the Godwins of the world? Juju? Give me some names that you like.
All right, so the first one you mentioned, Wilson, negative. He's a no-go. Now, I do like Chris Godwin. I am interested in Mike Evans. I am interested in Mike Williams. I am interested in Juju Smith-Schuster. I think there's a lot of interest. Wall's already mentioned Chark. I think I definitely have some interest in DJ Moore. I think I have, and again, mind you, what I'm saying is I'm talking about folks who can have big games. Somebody in Jacksonville is going to do it. It's definitely not going to be Marvin Jones Jr. again. So somebody over there is going to do it other than Marvin Jones Jr. Now, whether that's Zay Jones or Kirk or if it's just Mr. Ingram again, somebody else is going to play there. I do have some interest in one of the Commanders wide receivers. I think Dotson or somebody's going to converge in that game. I think on the other side, it might be some interest in one of those receivers as well. I'm still a little scared of Mr. Watson, though. I think you already mentioned or Sutton. If Judy's out, I really like Sutton. But if Judy's there, I think there's some interest in Judy. I've seen a couple folks show up, but I'm concerned about the quarterback for Michael Pittman. Slayton is always, and I'm not really sure how that game will go.
What about Drake? I'm going to give you some names. What about Drake London?
I ain't gonna speak for Walls. He's a no-go for me. I've been on Mr. London. He's been the Swame says pick.
And Doc, I'll fill that one. I will fill that one. Yes. Yes, and yes, I think he's a man of interest and play. Ryder throws to him 33% of the time. He focuses on that dude right there. The last 3 games, he's had 32 targets, and he has been consistent with the catches. And the only thing, just like I told him, when you continue to get the targets, what happens? Just like, remember what we said earlier about Jacobs. Remember Jacobs had all that stuff, and he just didn't get paid in the end zone. And remember how people laughed at us because we said Josh Jacobs, it was against San Diego. No, it was against the Chargers. You remember that? The LA Chargers. Remember we said Josh Jacobs. The people say, "Oh man, they ain't doing nothing against him," and that's when he started going on that rampage after that. I just think that London, to me, is a man of interest. I understand. I just think that, listen, just like you said, sir, you said inception. You got to get the targets. That's inception. Okay, he's averaged over 12 targets the last 3 games per game. Listen, it's going to happen where he's going to get a touchdown. It's going to regress to the mean when he get a touchdown. And then why not in this game? Why not?
Who are some of your cheap guys, Willie? You always have a couple of cheap names.
Listen, Higa won. Dortridge, what's his name? Dortridge
on Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona. I like him this week, and the reason being, it doesn't matter who. If he's a slot guy, which he is right now, it don't matter. I don't care who's the quarterback. They always throw to the slot guy, always. And then
listen to you guys. Hopkins is not playing. I'm telling you this right now. Hopkins is not playing. He's hurt.
You know. So I am very interested in him at $3,000. He's going to get peppered with targets, and I'm just telling you, this dude, any offense that they have, the slot guy is always in play, and he's that slot guy. At $3,000, I think we got to take a shot on this dude right here. I'm going to give you somebody that nobody's not thinking about. I'm thinking that Jacksonville might play the first half. And I like a guy named, and this guy shows up every once in a while. It's a guy named Agnew. Agnew, the guy for Jacksonville. I know it's off the wall, but I'm just telling you, these are sometimes when they play, this dude gets rushing or something like that. But really, my main guy that I'm going to that's going to be inexpensive is going to be Dortch. I'm going to have Dortch in most of the lineups that I'll have.
Swame, who are your inexpensive guys?
First, Doc, please allow me, if the court can allow me to provide a rebuttal. First of all, I don't like chasing last week. I like predicting next week. And I like to take the stats that allow you to predict next week to try to predict next week successfully. Mr. Dortch is a product of 1 week, lightning in a bottle. He will be cheeks. He's going back to cheeks. Some guys jumped all over a Sky Moore guy and a bunch of guys like that all year long. And here's another one in a long list of cheeks. And please, trust me, they're going to be cheeks, not closed cheeks, stinky cheeks. No. And to go along with those stinky cheeks, you can add that other joker to that doggone list as well. And let me tell you, here's why. Because targets do matter, but so does matchup. And the reason why targets change sometimes is when the matchup change. And the reasons why targets don't matter as much when the matchup changes. If Deion Sanders is on you, I don't care how many targets Willie gets. And if Willie is on you, hey, I want to hear how many targets you're getting. That matters too.
Hey, but guess what? Just so you know, the guy does not play the slot. And that's where Dortch is, and he's going to be in the slot. I know who you're talking about. He's going to be in the slot. They have trouble against the slot receiver. The slot receivers, that's where you feast on them. And that's where he's going to be.
With an NFL quarterback, I would agree. Not with you back there. You don't know who the guy is.
I understand. Listen, you couldn't get worse than McSorley. He's worse. He's stuck. And he gave him a talk. Anytime Dortch, let me give you some stats for your behind, sir. Anytime Dortch, which he will this week, gets over 70%, the guy produces over 13 or 14 fantasy points. At $3,000, if you're telling me that you have an opportunity to get somebody that can give you 15 points or more, they could go 5 times that price point, and you can get in those other receivers that you want to get in. Don't tell me you're not taking that shot, sir.
Here's what Willie said. He said, put your money where your mouth is. I got 500. and say he don't go over 20 fantasy points. Take my bet.
Yeah, I'm saying, but listen, whoa.
Take my bet or shut up.
Hey, sir. Would you take 15 points from a $3,000 receiver? Yes, you would.
All right, Swame, give me a couple of your cheap dudes.
Okay, so I like to call them affordable. I like to call priced right, price favorable. I don't believe in cheap. Every time I think of cheap, I think of walls at the dollar menu, not my wide receivers. So let me keep on going here. So when you say guys I think are affordable, I think Walls is right on Mr. Chark. I think I like Chark a lot. I think Mr. Richie James Jr., I think he's still in a good spot. I think I like him. You could talk me into somebody like a Russell Gage. I think he's at least down there where we would want to consider them. He's getting the targets over the last couple of weeks. Maybe Bourne sometimes in those kind of games he might could show up. Maybe if Samuel's not really super.
What do you guys think of Romeo Dobbs? What do you think of Romeo Dobbs if Christian Watson's out?
I think Romeo Dobbs with Watson out he would shoot up my board pretty quickly. He didn't do much against him the first time, but he would shoot up my board. And I think I would stop there. You could maybe talk yourself into a Bears wide receiver, but I think if you start getting down in that, you start getting that desperate, scroll back up.
Hey, so you know what, Doc? This is what I'm not getting. He come on my quarterback's cheeks, but who's more cheeks than Mac Jones? And you talking about using a New England player? Level two.
About these
who's more cheeks than that? Who's more cheeks? That's cheeks.
Let's move this along. Give me some tight ends. I know we all like Kelsey. I got it. Who else do we like at tight end?
TJ Hawkinson, Evan Ingram. You could talk me into George Kittle, and I would have some interest in Cole Kmet. If you wanted to kind of go down there and look at some of those guys, because of injuries, you can, but I would probably stop at Noah Fant. I don't think I'm going below that.
Willie, who do you have?
I disagree. I think Conklin is one of the best players on the slate. I think, at his price point, he's one of the best players on the slate. And you also could get that dude, that Jelani Woods, the dude from Indianapolis. Yep. He is in play this week because Grayson is going to be out, and that dude has upside. And I'm just saying, so at 2,800, it wouldn't be surprised to see him get in the end zone and get a touch at that price point. So I think there are some interesting characters at tight end. But man, I tell you what, it's not a bad thing to pay up for Kelsey this week. It's not a bad thing because I think with the pieces like the Dolphins.
If you do cheap running backs, you can get Kelsey in there, and that could be a differentiator. But Swami, I can't believe you missed my favorite tight end this week, Hunter Henry. The Dolphins can't stop anybody.
I liked Hunter Henry.
Yeah, but he's hurt too, though, Doc.
He was banged up.
Jonnu Smith is out.
But Hunter Henry was hurt.
If Henry is a go, and guess how I know he was hurt? Because he exited my lineup. So
but what if he play? I'm saying if he starts, I could go Teddy B, Tyreek, Waddle, and run it back with Henry and feel pretty good about that.
I would agree with that. 100%. In fact, I like that. If Henry's in, that's very, very, very interesting, and it gives you the money, the cap room you're gonna need to be able to kind of fill it out. I like that.
But I really think that if I'm not playing golf and if I'm not going to fields, I do think Teddy B. I never thought I would say it in my life. Teddy Two Gloves is a man of interest this week at $5,000. He's a man of interest, and I think we could get advantage over people because everybody think that Teddy's going to get messed up, and I just think that you can only go so far by missing so many corners.
Don't leave off Mr. Mahomes.
No. We say that. Listen, Mahomes isn't playing.
Mahomes and Kelsey. When Kelsey goes off, Mahomes goes off, and all of a sudden you get 60 points with two guys, and now you're halfway to winning a title.
Well, listen. We know what Mr. Holmes is to play, but I'm just saying. But it's just hard to get away from a guy like Golf at 5,600 that has so much upside.
A couple of things before we go. Defense. Who is the defense? Who's the cheap defense? It's not the Patriots. I'm telling you that right now. Who's the cheap defense this week, guys? I know I have mine.
2,300.
Who?
2,300. 2,300. Man, these people are calling me. 2300. Didn't they run from Tampa Bay before? The Panthers, are they 2,300?
Yes, they roughed them up. They held them a 3-point.
All right, Swami, who do you like while Willie's getting his 17th phone call on the show?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure even that flip phone he got has got a silent button on it. He just got to find it. I hope that's his
on the side, Willie. On the side.
Even his ringtone cheeks. So please allow me to finish. Hopefully you won't get another call. So I think the 49ers are interesting at 29. But if you were saying, hey, if I needed some space and I was trying to work a defense in, I think the Texans are viable. And I think if Ertz is out and the way that Minshew turned the ball over, I would even take an outside chance. I wish it were in the dome. I'd take an outside shot with the Saints, but that's in a desperate.
I disagree with that, sir.
In a desperate situation.
Can I give you a defense I think is interesting? Are the Falcons interesting this week against the crappy whatchamacallits?
They're 2,700. I will pay for San Francisco. I will go up to the 49ers. If I'm that close, I'm playing the 49ers.
Yeah,
because Jared Stidham stinks, right?
But I would be interested. Falcons at home, that quarterback, and the only person you're afraid of is Dortch. I'd be interested.
No, sir. No, I'm afraid of Mr. Connor. Don't be disrespectful. He set your team apart, so don't even be disrespectful in season long. So
I think the 49ers. Here's the problem. I think the 49ers are the right play. I just worry that the game could get ugly. I don't know. Maybe
that's good for the 49ers because they listen.
You may be right. I just feel like it's also 20% of people may be on that. I start to get crazy with chalk, you know?
Yeah,
but defense, I mean, listen, I don't know, man. It's just like taking Dallas defense against Tennessee. You take, like Swame said, take the 10 points to 12 points to get out of town.
You're right.
Because it's not like they 4,000. If they were 4,000, I agree. 2,900 is affordable.
All right, Swami. Swami says play of the week.
I think the play of the week this week, the guy that interests me the most. Now, Willie, this won't blow you away. I feel like it might be Courtland Sutton, right? But if you're looking for something a little bit more off the beaten path, you want me to dig a little deeper than that. I think I'm interested in Mr. Swift. I think I'm ready to go ahead and endorse him, despite his name.
Okay, I'm gonna give you 3. As soon as he says it, he gonna go with Mr. Swift in the matchup. Okay, okay. Well, I appreciate you digging for that one. Nice dig. Okay, good dig. So if you're gonna do that, let me get Mr. Robinson, since he's doo-doo and they don't score touchdowns. Let me get Mr. Robinson, sir. And touches don't matter. Let me get Mr. Robinson.
Hold on a second. We're gonna have a little contest here. I'm gonna see if I can remember this next week. Willie has Robinson and Dortch. Those are his 2 guys. Swami, you have Swift, and who's your guy?
I got to pick somebody just as crazy to make it fair.
Yeah.
Give me. I ain't got nobody as crazy as Dortch on my board, man. Dortch is just out there. Would Slayton be crazy?
No, that's fair. I'll give you that. So Slayton and Swift versus Robinson and Dortch. Is that fair?
you got Slayton. What?
I'll tell you what. I'll give you Richie James. Swami.
All right.
Oh, I'll take James. Yeah, I'll take James.
Okay.
Hey,
James versus Robinson and
Hey,
Torres.
one other person I like. I love Shark this week. I told you that's the guy I'm playing over. I like Shark this week. I love him.
I am playing Conklin. I'm playing Henry. And I really like Romeo Dobbs. I've been on him since minute one. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to shock you guys that he's not going to suck this week.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm taking notes because I'm putting Conklin, I'm putting Dortch, and I'm putting those guys on this list of cheeks. That means less single ladies. They will not score more than double digits. Single.
Listen, to everybody out there and to you guys, my good friends, I wish you a happy and healthy new year. I hope 2023 is a great year for everybody.
Happy New Year, everybody. And listen, the Lord is number one, Doc. Every year that you get is a blessing for what you went through. It's truly a blessing. And the Lord is, and we've had some difficult years. You and I are losing our dads, but it's still a blessing that we're family that we have an opportunity to go to the new year. So please, everybody, don't be dumb. Don't go out drinking and driving. Please don't do that. That's why they got Ubers. Have a good time, but still be safe because I'm telling you, this COVID is still out here. It says nothing changed. So don't be going in there in some infested areas and then you got a big cough coming back. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? So
it was definitely some adversity in 2022. And that's fantasy and family and everything. But for 2023, we wishing everybody, health and prosperity and blessings. And let's get after it while we still got a few more weeks left here.
And somebody from this, from this podcast, from this thing, it's time to take the start of the new year outright, take down the tournament. It's time.
All right, from us to you, be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.
I'm making a list.